Can you show us some of your creation?
Well, this isn't necessarily my creation, but it's one of my favorites. Okay, it's a very old trick.
Yep.
From a friend of mine, John Cornelius. And can you see the coin? It's just a euro, right? And all you do is give it a little squeeze, and it's gone. Now we can feel it here. You can feel it here.
Very good.
Give it a squeeze, comes right back. Scares me too.
John Cornelius, another great mind.
Yes, he is.
How you can do it? Your life is full of different places where you have been. You have visited how many places in your life?
Well, I've performed on TV in 64 countries.
Oh, can we sit down?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Four countries.
Yeah.
Toul, France.
Yeah.
What does it mean with
I
you?
was born there.
Yeah. And why in France? You're American.
Yeah, you know, my father was a pilot in the American Air Force.
Helicopter
And jets.
And jets.
He flew jets, yeah. And he was stationed on an American Air Force base in Toul in 1962 when I decided to make my appearance.
My appearance. Very good. And it is, of course, Paris. And what does it remember to you?
That's right in front of the Crazy Horse.
Yes. Have you been there so long time?
You know, I haven't worked there since the early 90s, but that was a great time in my life. You know, I mean, it was exciting
and it's with Antonio.
Yeah.
Antonio Solo that you have met in Anaheim,
California. Yeah. I hired him not because he was a short guy, but there are millions of short guys.
Yes.
But there's only one Antonio, and it's because of his character and his style and his charisma.
And you put together one idea that you had with his performance of the Charlot. Was two different things. And you melt together.
When I first saw him, he was doing the Charlie Chaplin character, just strolling in the restaurant. The audience fell in love with him instantly.
And you was part of the audience.
Well, I was working there as a magician.
Ah, good.
And I worked there for 2 years before I really decided to ask him if he wanted to work together. And at that time, he said, well, I used to do magic too. I worked with Siegfried and Roy. And when they used to shrink Roy, he was the little Roy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember it.
Yeah. And then we worked together for many years, and then we separated for about a 6-year period. And at that time, he was on season 1 of Mind Freak with Chris Angel as the bodyguard.
Yeah. Good.
And then after that, we got back together, and he's worked for me full time now.
But come back in the 60s. Your family went back to America, and you are here in Michigan.
In a little town called Tecumseh.
Tecumseh, that is really, really little.
Yeah. Yes. And we lived there for a few years. We have lots of family there. And then I grew up in a place called Jonesville, Michigan. Jonesville
is a place where you live.
2,000 people.
How many magicians?
Zero, just me.
Just here.
Yeah.
How many magic shops?
Yeah.
Just here.
Yeah. There was no magic shop. But later I found out that Colon, Michigan was 1 hour drive.
Oh.
Yeah. The magic capital of the world was 1 hour away. And then I started to go to conventions every year.
And from Michigan until Nevada, Las Vegas, it's a long trip.
Yeah. From Michigan, I went to university, and then after that, I went to California, in Los Angeles, and that's where I met Antonio.
Oh yeah.
And then we started working the Crazy Horse. So that was on and off for about 3 years.
So your life is from Michigan to California to Paris.
Yeah, back to California, and then we moved to Las Vegas because we got a job in Splash at the Riviera. And then when that finished, we did some other small jobs like Showgirls of Magic, and then I booked a show in Korea for almost 3 years.
Yes.
And that was a really big comedy magic show with a cast of 30 people.
Yes, I know. Yes.
And it was really a great experience because I could get a lot of the ideas that were in my notebook actually built and on stage and seeing if they worked. And so we lived in Korea for almost 3 years at the Sheraton Hotel, yeah.
And in France for 3 years as well.
Yeah.
But it's true that you lived in a house of Gator Bloom.
Yes.
And so two minds like this all together all the time.
It was great.
It was
really great.
We have an interview with Gator Bloom. He said that he just broke with his girl, and you had
Just
the same.
broke with mine
and you were all two like this.
We got to just brainstorm all the time,
And you suggested him to go to Crazy Horse.
well, in fact, I was at the Crazy, and then the producer from Splash came to see the show, and then booked us to go to Splash. So I asked the Crazy Horse if I could leave our contract.
Yes.
Bernadette said, "Yeah, absolutely. You have to take the opportunity." And so one night he's in a good mood, and I asked Gaetan if he had some kind of promo so I could give the boss, and
He just finished in Spain.
well, yeah, but he didn't have any promo. I mean, so he said, "I just did like 17 episodes with Tamariz.
Yes.
Maybe you can use that." And I go, "Yeah, okay. Well, let's cut the best parts that I need."
You edited it.
Yeah, yeah. I took his tapes and we chopped it up, and so I made the tape, and every night I could watch the boss. I could see if he was in a good mood or a bad mood. And for like 2 weeks I kept that tape with me, and every night. And one night he was in his salon, and he had like 5 or 6 people around, and they were laughing and having a good time. And I go, "Oh, Mr. Bernadette, I've got a great act for you. Can I show it to you?" And he goes, "Yeah, put it in right now." So he puts it in, and everybody's laughing, and it's funny because it's in Spanish because he was working for Tamariz. And the boss says, "So I love this guy. Everybody's laughing. They thought it was great." And he says, "Is this guy in Spain? Where is he from?" And I go, "No, he lives about 3 miles from here." And
he had performed it in Spanish in France.
yeah, so when he arrived, he says, I'm French. I can do it in French if you are English. And he says, "No, I like what I saw. I want you to do it." So he was doing a Chinese character in Spanish.
For French
for everybody, but in France, so you get confused as to how many countries he was imitating. It's like a French guy imitating a Spanish guy imitating a Chinese guy. And one thing.
Yes.
After Gaetan got booked immediately, he stayed there for like 12 or 13 years. So
you travel all over the world, Africa, South America, North America. But I do say that the most beautiful cooking is the Brazilian one.
it's really
Can
good.
you suggest us a recipe?
Well, I'll tell you, they have this drink, caipirinha, with some cachaça, and it's like drinking a glass of candy.
Okay, so
It's just really, really delicious, and the Brazilian churrasco, where they come by and cut off the different kinds of meat, is exquisite. I love that.
So we are going to reach it.
Brazil
Almost
big.
immediately.
Yeah, I'm hungry now.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure.